Turn it off and turn it back on. Well, hello everyone. Technical difficulties as can be expected with the digital age, but my name is Justin Nealey. I'm here to talk about how to manage projects with GoDaddy Pro. A little bit about my background before we get started. I'm a senior growth product manager here at GoDaddy, focusing on the partner's experience, helping out with some cool features inside the hub, the Pro program, and all sorts of other cool stuff. Been at GoDaddy almost 9 years now. It'll be 9 years in September. Felt like a lifetime. I started when I was 20, a wee little baby. But I've also been a website designer for about 10-ish or so years now, helping those small to medium-sized businesses look professional and generate leads online. And I also like to coach new and up-and-coming designers, just teaching back and helping them avoid the failures and mistakes I made early on in my career as a website designer. If you have any questions during any of this as we kind of go along, there's that little chat. Go ahead, drop it in the comments here below. I'll try to answer it on the fly. I like to kind of keep this a little bit casual and not so formal of me just presenting. If I could, I would just talk to you with us all live, but chat works too. So we're going to talk about why we should plan projects, the 5 phases to every project, using the hub to manage your projects. And I'm also going to give you a bit of a project plan template that you can use to kind of help keep yourself organized. So my early website design, I put quotes for process because it wasn't necessarily a process. The process was I would get a new client and then I would immediately just jump in and wing it and start working on their project. Didn't really have a plan in place, just kind of started building, right? I would run into roadblocks where I didn't do the necessary research into some of their requirements of they needed the website to do this functionality. I was like, yeah, I could probably figure it out, to realize that I needed to either hire someone to do it or it was a lot more complicated than I thought, costing a little bit more in either plugin costs or just my time in general. Original timelines would get pushed. Client isn't the happiest. Eventually get the project completed. And I would just do that over and over and over until I got a little bit more organized with my projects. But again, it just did not lead to great experiences for my clients. I missed deadlines and there was just frustration for everyone, my clients and myself included. So why you should plan projects? There is some time investment up front, but it does help you in the long run. Because at the end of the day, winging it doesn't scale. You can't grow your business as a freelancer or even as an agency by just winging it. You have to have that plan in place because those smaller details can fall through the cracks, whether it be something as simple as making sure all the meta descriptions are added to the site and they all have featured images, to something major, like you forget a page that needed to be created. Plans minimize stress, knowing all the work that I need to do and kind of checking it off as I go gives me that little bit of a dopamine effect of like, cool, I've got this done. I'm making progress. I'm doing it. The plans itself inspire confidence with your clients because when everything is crystal clear about all the work that you're going to be doing, the communication increases and that back and forth and letting your client know exactly what's going on at almost all stages is incredibly important. Because they just know that if you don't talk to them, like they hope you're building the website, they hope they got some pages being created. Maybe they don't know. But the project process really also helps us think about the why, the what, and the how. Why are we really building this site? What are we trying to accomplish with it? What are we going to use to build the site? And how am I going to actually make what their visions are become a reality? Because a website is a lot more than just having something online. It helps them generate business, generate leads, grow their customer base, look professional online, boost their brand. There's all sorts of things that need to go into place. It also creates a clear beginning and an end. I know there are many projects that I've had in the past where there wasn't necessarily an end in sight. There was always another update or some other fix or some other feedback. Keeping that project plan in place and sharing the stages with my client and letting them know of all the work I'll be doing, the feedback revisions, how many they are, and keeping that on track help me avoid that scope creep that I have at the very end here. Show of chats in the room, who has worked on a project that has been impacted by scope creep, where the project just ended up being a lot more than it was originally estimated to. Definitely Sandy. Yep. Adam. Yep. across the board. And they're never any fun because you sacrifice your time and you ultimately earned less for the time that you put into this. It also helps create accountability for not only yourself, but also for your client. Because when you share the different details that you'll be needing to do in the project, especially when it comes to the content collection and what they need to provide, and that this is in the planning stage and I need to have this before I get to this stage, really helps keep everyone accountable here. But yeah, let's go into the major phases of each project. These are the major phases in my eyes when I'm working on my client site. There, you can get super granular with your different project phases. You can get very high level of just planning, development, launch. You can do whatever you want. This is just the structure that I use with my site, with my projects rather. So I like to call the first phase planning and gathering, taking you back to the caveman days. But your main goal of this phase of the project is to really just fully understand all the details needed to complete the project and your client's brand. Start researching what you'll need to fulfill the project requirements, then gather all the content and assets you'll need to start working. Before I even go into designing the site or getting the server set up or anything else, I want to make sure I have everything that I need that's not going to prevent me from moving forward. Whether it's some simple stuff as like getting the proposals sent, the invoices sent, to setting up some sort of Drive or Dropbox or something to collect their assets, or content snares, another great one, to just making sure that I've researched what they actually want to create with their website, whether it be a super robust WooCommerce site with memberships and everything else. I don't want to just wing it and go into it like, yeah, I can probably do that without having what plugins I'm going to use in place, what themes, what other functionality am I not thinking about, and really mapping that out. The next is the design phase. So this can be as simple as, for me, it's creating a visual sitemap and a sketch with my top of the line world-class wireframe here. To as in-depth as using something like Figma and going super hi-fi with the design and going into every single little bit of detail that it comes to the site. I'll use this phase to really figure out the structure, whether it's creating visual sitemaps or this little wireframe, to make sure that I understand all of the content that I'll eventually need to fulfill the project, or just really structure the site itself just to make sure it flows. I'm super big on understanding the visitor journey of, cool, when the visitor goes to your site, what actions do we want them to do? And these wireframes can help us, even just the simple sketch of this, of, cool, they're going to click this call to action in this hero section, but where does that go? It's going to take them to the contact page or a dedicated landing page or whatever it might be. And then what else after that? What's the next phase? I can quickly sketch this up and kind of map that out. And it's not something as in-depth as going into Figma yet to go invest a bunch of time before I even have that mapped out at the end of the day. The next phase is development. So this is the fun part. This is what we all love to do, right? As website designers and developers, this is where you get to set up the server and start developing the website to meet the needs of your client. Pretty self-explanatory. Anywhere from like setting up the plugins to actually creating the home pages and about pages and sub pages, to just anything else technical required to actually get the site and make it a reality. The QA and feedback. So every design will need feedback from your client. If you have a client that just goes, yeah, do whatever you want, that's the golden goose, stick to them. But every client needs that feedback, right? So you want to plan for a couple of feedback iterations and set expectations of how many rounds of feedback they get with your work. Don't let it be just an ongoing process, because the more they look at it, they'll always find something else to adjust or improve or add or change. So set those strict guidelines, but also make sure I plan for QA too. This is more so than just making sure the site looks good on most browsers, most phones, things like that. But also test to make sure the forms function and make sure the forms aren't being set to my email address, because I don't want their contact forms or the messages. I want to make sure it goes to them, or making sure the buttons work. and go to the intended place, especially after a migration to a different domain. Those little QA checks are super important. Me personally, I use markup.io to get feedback from my clients. It's pretty simple and straightforward to use. I just throw in the URL. It kind of iframes it in and drops comments in. I've used Atarim and WP Feedback as well. Those are also good solutions if you want something more so integrated into the website itself. And then 5, the 5th phase, it's launch time. So it's time to launch the site. So here's where you'll migrate the website to your client server, do last minute checks, provide quick training to your client, and discuss ongoing maintenance plans. In the project template that I'm going to be going through, I have the discussing ongoing maintenance plans, part of the planning and gathering, and at the very end. More so because I like to introduce them to this concept and even put it in the proposal itself of, hey, when I'm done with your website, I'm not just done, right? I'll be your partner ongoing, and here's what that kind of includes. So that very end is just that little bit of a reminder to let them know that, cool, now that we launched your site, let's figure out how we can maintain it, make sure it's up and running, and we kind of improve and add on to it. And with that, we're going to do a live demo. So we all know how live demos go. So we'll see how this all works. But I'm going to show you how to set up a project inside of the hub. This is my test account. Whoops. Yep. So this is my test account. So all this stuff is kind of nonsense in here, like temp users and Jim Bob's Bakery. But I'll show you how the tool inside of that's live today for you, if you want to use it, and it's free to use, can be used to really help manage and maintain these projects and all these different phases to keep you organized and on track. So if you want to sign up for this, it's hub.godaddy.com. I'm sure Sandy will drop that, yes, right on cue in the chat here. It's free to sign up, free to use. There's no extra cost for the project management here. But when you get set up, probably the first thing you want to do is set up a client. All the projects that I've ever worked on is all based around a client. So that's probably my first step. So I'll head over here to clients and I'll add a new client. Sandy is going to be my volunteer. Edwards, awesome chairs. She sells chairs. Why not? An email address so I can save that. Once I set up the client, I'll probably want to do a couple extra things like send the delegate access because I don't want her username and password. I want her to be able to click a button so I can click that request access and manage either her products, or I can manage products and purchases if I have that relationship with her where she's like, you just get me whatever I need. I don't want to bother with it. I can do that here. But I would just choose that manage products and hit next. I'm not going to because I put se@godaddy.com. That's probably someone in the company. I don't want them to get a random email address from me here. But once that is set up, I can go over to the projects tab and click new project here, or I can go over here and click projects. But I'll just do it from here to the new project. Disregard these templates at the top. I'll show you that later. Act like they're not even there. But we're going to give it a name. So Sandy's website for stuff. Why not? An estimated due date. I can choose this to whatever. So 14th, that's a quick turnaround. She did not pay for a rush. So I'm going to do that May 12th. For the choose a client from the list, I'll go ahead and do Sandy Edwards and then click launch project. So here I'm in the project management section. It shows phase 1 and I can create my first task. I think the first thing I want to do is set up my 5 different phases. So on the top here, I'll choose this option and choose edit phase because I want to make this my planning and gathering. It's probably not going to take 34 days to plan and gather. So I'm going to actually change this and say, we'll say 12 days. Not the most responsive, so I'll make sure it's 12 days. So I have that, and now my other phases here. So I have my design. I misspelled that. Development. QA and feedback. And then launch. Now that I have my different phases, I need to start setting up my tasks. So I'm going to go from the planning and gathering, and I'm going to be copy postings over here. So to create a new task, I just click this little button here of my title. So send proposal. It's in the right phase. The status is to do because I have not done it yet. I can add a description here if I'd like to, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to start throwing in a couple. Awesome. And then magic happens. Da 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 da. All right, I've added all my projects and my tasks for Sandy's project. For the sake of continuity, this is Sandy's site stuff, and we're doing Sandy Edwards. Cool. So I've gone through and I've added all of my tasks for each phase. It's nice and organized so that I can go in and make sure I'm managing only the tasks that are associated with this. And I have this all set up nice and dandy here. But as I'm going through and I'm checking off the boxes, I realize that I'm probably going to need to get Sandy set up with a couple of products just to make sure that I can get started on the project and building out her site. So on the right-hand side here, I have this shared shopping. So I could fill out a cart and email it to her because I need her to get a couple of products like WordPress hosting and some other things before I can even start building out the site. Personally, I like to keep my clients hosting products and really most products in their own account. That way they own it and I'm not the first line of support when anything happens to the website. They can just call GoDaddy and see if it's something related to the hosting or something that they can help with, unless they have some sort of extra maintenance plan. I'll kind of step in. That way my time isn't spent most on fielding support requests. Then I have to go and contact GoDaddy to figure out if it's something beyond me going on or if I need additional help there. But say manage WordPress, she needs a WordPress WooCommerce site. So I'm going to go e-commerce. Let's do that year. Then I can go here and choose to manage WordPress. If I have any other products, I can do that and add it there. But we'll keep it simple. If I wanted to just share the cart URL, I can do that and just copy and send her a text or an email or however I want to do that. I can click continue. If I have that delegate access with purchase set up here, there'll be an option for my client's card and it'll just automatically use whatever's on file for that account. I can use my card and just associate it with her client section. It still gets managed and everything in my account. Or I can just email the cart to the client saying, hey, Sandy, I've put together some products that you need to buy so I get moving on your project. Check them out. And if you can finish purchase, that'd be great. Blah, blah, blah. Send a copy to me if I want to make sure it gets sent. And then choose send cart. Then she gets that email. She clicks a link from the email, logs in, places the order, and I can go in and start managing that project and her products in her account. So back to my projects. Sandy's, I think it was this one. Now I got myself all confused. It was not that one. It was the second one. All right. So now that I have my thing all set up, I've got her the right products. The next part is to assign a site to her account. I can do that by going over here to sites and adding a new site here if I need to, whatever the site might be. Or I can go over here and click Sandy's website if I've already set it up and click assign site. And I've assigned all my sites to other projects. 1 second here. Or because it's my test account, I don't have an active site. There we go. It must take a second. All right, live demos. But once this updates and refreshes, it would show my site here, and then I can get quick access to log into it. Whether it be the site dashboard or just the overview site here. But as I go through this, I can easily check these boxes. I can go down and rearrange. So if I want to make sure I research the fonts that they might want to use because they have no idea what their brand guide is or fonts they want to use on their site, they've kind of just been winging it themselves, all the way to send delegate access requests. I really just start checking as I go across. And if I ever make a mistake and accidentally check a box that should not have been checked yet, I can just go over here, go to done, click on it, and then choose the status to do. And it throws it back over. But it keeps track of how much I have completed. So it shows my total tasks, 6 out of 16 here. There's 11% completed. And if I go over to this little area, it'll show that as well. So 6 out of 55 tasks completed. And I can jump ahead and start updating my development server, to install my plugins needed, add website to the hub, my homepage, about all that good stuff, and kind of go from there. And it keeps track of my project as I go along. This electronic signatures is not yet live for customers, but it is coming soon, being able to upload your contracts and proposals. So stay tuned for that. On our GoDaddy Pro YouTube channel, we're doing hub dates, we're calling them, just the hub updates. If you want to know what cool stuff we're adding, I definitely recommend following along there. But those are a couple of options here. But this project can be updated and managed at any time. If you ever need to go and add a new phase, you can easily do so and adjust the expected due date. So right now it shows May 18th. The new phase after I add a new project and say this is going to take 14 days, fixing something. Why not? I can't spell today. Oh, I can go fixing something. And then adding new tasks as needed, updating it, and going from there. And again, this project option here, it is free to use for any of your projects. We're keeping it pretty simple for now, but going to be integrating a lot of cool stuff that you'll be using in your day-to-day with your website projects. I myself, again, a website designer, so starting to use this with my own function. I found myself not necessarily needing something as super robust as Asana, but I still need something to keep track, and I didn't want to manage all my tasks in Excel or something like that. So this has helped me out a ton, but everything from managing your sites to managing your projects, managing your clients, all in that one place, and same thing with your products, definitely goes a long way. And yeah, the markup and Adorim are just some recommended third-party tools that I've used in the past. And with that, I've tried to keep things pretty short and sweet. One last thing now that I remember here. So say I set up my project exactly how I like it. I've done all those tasks, but I don't want to continue to add those tasks each and every time to each and every project because that is time consuming, right? You want to just do that investment once. When you're done setting up your project however you want, you can go up to this little ellipses here and do save as template. My new template, and click save. So that way, when I go ahead and set up a new project, they show up here. I think I named it that one, that new. It's going to give me an estimated due date already because it uses the phase dates that I've preset up. I can assign a client if I want, and then I can launch. And then all of my tasks are set up and organized however I want. I can go and start working on this next project. In my personal account, I have a standard website project build set up. I have an e-commerce site build, and I have I call it my $100,000 project build, of like the top of the line. Like if I got my dream client, because I got a dream, right? But keep me organized that way, regardless of whatever project I'm running on. I put that little bit of time investment in early, so that way I can go ahead and just skip that process later on, and keeping me organized and making sure that I'm no longer winging it with my projects. So Adam asked, will this work with GoDaddy reseller accounts? So the hub does not work with our reseller accounts yet. I've been working with the product manager of reseller to see how we can start to integrate the hub features there as well. And yes, so right now we don't have the easiest way to share templates inside of the hub. It is a feature request we've gotten. But if you go to x.co/hub project, and I'll put that in the chat here, it'll link to this Excel, this super high quality, top of the line sheet right here. And it'll kind of go through the different phases and some example tasks you can do to keep yourself organized as well. Everything from the send proposal to the discuss ongoing maintenance plan to the set up the feedback to asking for a review.
And Justin, Barry just asked if we're planning to have a hub community site so that we can share best practices. Would our existing forums be a good place for that?
Yeah. So we have, I know our garage blog has been working on some content to kind of share with some of the best practices for using the hub and some of these templates here as well. But also our community, we have a dedicated GoDaddy Pro section. Andy McElwain will be working on some additional stuff to kind of bring that in. We're also looking at bringing in the hub, like the community inside of the hub as well. So you don't have to leave and go to our separate community section. So we can have some of these dedicated conversations around the hub and what we're using. And we hope to add more features that allow you to share your awesome stuff, whether it be your projects or like your project templates and things like that too in the future.
And just so everyone knows, next week, Cami will be with us, and she will be talking all about that clients area and how to manage your clients and how to utilize the delegate access and everything. So, this month of April, this meetup and the next 2 meetups afterwards, our entire focus is on helping you build your business and what tools GoDaddy Pro is offering to help you do so. So that's kind of how we've set everything up. And then at the end of the month, on April 27th and 28th, we have the Expand event. And so that is going to be an absolutely amazing opportunity for all of the web designers, freelancers, and agency owners to come together in a single event. It's 2 days, it's half a day each. And the entire focus is going to be on how you can streamline your business, build your business. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun and it's going to be really awesome. So you can find all of these events and more at events.godaddy.com, which I am putting in the chat as well. And that is where this event that you came to today was listed. So yeah, if we have any, thank you, Adam, for getting me a more detailed event link. I appreciate it. But yes, so if you have any other questions, what were you gonna say, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, continue dropping your questions in here. But if you're using the hub, say you're an avid GoDaddy Pro using the legacy dashboard, if you opt in for this, you can still get back to that dashboard just by going to pro.godaddy.com. So you can kind of go the best of both worlds. But if you have any suggestions or things that you think that would make the hub super awesome, or things that you just may not like at all, use this little feedback widget here on the right. It'll pop out. We read these daily for those that submit it, and it helps us shape where our roadmap is going to go. We built this as an MVP of like, let's get something that's super cool out the door, but then build on top of it of what you all actually want versus what we think you want.
And feedback is key here. So that's why we put the tool right there, easy to access. So that way we can get as much feedback as possible.
Something as simple as this, we didn't have this as an option until someone said, I would like this to just stick out. You're like, you know what, that makes sense. And now that's my default view. And then just from feature requests or integrations or whatever it might be.
Yep. Awesome. Well, if we don't have any more questions, then I will start to wrap this up. If we do, feel free to throw them in the chat now. Um, and like I said, the next couple of weeks are all going to revolve around the hub. We're really excited about all of the awesome new features that are coming out and that are rolling out. We're really trying hard to streamline everything, and I think we're doing a great job. Justin, this is absolutely amazing. This is the first time I've seen projects in its entirety, and really been able to see it. So, Adam had a question. How do we keep updated on the eventual integration with reseller accounts?
I would keep an eye on the hub dates. We're probably not super close yet. We're trying to bring in some of the reseller features into the hub itself and then bring it out to the reseller clients. So doing things like today you earn points from your clients' purchases. We're trying to make that more of a revenue share where you actually get cold hard cash for getting your clients set up with GoDaddy. So we're working on a bunch of stuff, but the community is probably the best place to go to kind of keep an eye on it. We post monthly hub dates there, or our GoDaddy Pro YouTube channel. We do little videos there as well. I believe one of the other product managers on the team is working on a what's new widget as well. That'll pop up here on the homepage. That way you can kind of keep up to date with whatever new features or things that we're adding here.
Awesome. And then Kim wants to know, does the hub pull our pro discounts over?
Yes, it does. So yeah, you use that shared shopping. It's the same shared shopping, like the send cart option that you're using in the legacy dashboard today. You still get that same 30% off discount. In fact, we highlight it on the little pro benefits pages here of that 30% discount.
Awesome. Oh, you got the garage listed too. Look at that. I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Justin. I know that it is very valuable, and I know that everyone is appreciative. And Adam did make a really good side note that we will be making a lot of hub specific announcements at the Expand 2021 event. So again, that is an event you do not want to miss. But other than that, I want to thank you, and we will see you all next week. And Justin, I will see you next time we have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Appreciate all watching.